Have there been any particular people in your life that have been significant mentors or spiritual
Oh,
fathers?
yeah, a lot of them. My dad, of course, is was the greatest encouragement in my life because he just really believed in me, always did, and he just was always he just so delighted in my successes. Anything that I did, he just celebrated with me, and so that was huge for me. I've had several others, through the years. Dick Joyce, who is a prophet friend of ours that ministered to us so often in Weaverville and still today in Reading. He would just call out of the blue and just check up to see how I was doing. Dick Mills would do the same. There was an associate pastor here on staff at Bethel when I worked under my dad, named Darrell Blunt, that was a tremendous help to me. And there's just a lot of those kinds of people, 5 or 6 of them, I suppose, in the last 40 years that have had just great impact on how I live, how I think, how I act towards other people. I learned grace from my friend Darrell, and he really fathered me in that subject of grace. And because I was very hard on myself, wanted to grow, wanted to see great things happen, and he just illustrated grace and helped me, saved me from destroying myself, I think. So I just really live indebted to these people. Randy Clark is, while he's just a dear close friend, I've learned so much from him. And I just receive from him constantly, and so there's many people
Yeah.
like that in my life. Yeah,
Those relationships are invaluable, and I think
yeah.
there's a lot of young people in particular who really desire to position themselves as sons or daughters. Are there any keys that you would give young people wanting mentorship in their lives that would help them position themselves well and in a posture to receive?
Yeah, it's difficult because most everyone wants a good, close relationship with a spiritual father where they can spend a lot of time with the person and eat in their home and vice versa, and be able to call them at the drop of a hat. And there's just, I can't do that for everyone, and nor can anyone else on our team. We can do it some, but we can't do it to everyone. And so what happens is young people will look at somebody they admire, and rightfully so. They will pursue a relationship and feel rejected when they can't get that time. So the first thing I would say is receive the fathering influence that is already in the ministry, in the atmosphere, in the culture. Receive from that, number one. Number two, examine who God has put in your life that may not be famous, may not be behind the pulpit, but really walks the walk. They walk what they say. They do what is taught. They live the culture. They live the experience. They have a depth and maturity. And draw from those folks. And don't worry so much about titles as much as we concern ourselves with function. That I want to be a son. I want to respond to the leadership that God has placed in my life. And if you celebrate and utilize what God's given you, there's a good chance He'll give you access to the more that you cry for. But if we despise the hand that God's already brought into our life because I'm looking for this one, yeah, it's not smart. It's not smart because people usually want somebody who's written the book or pastors the church or travels the world or something, some famous person to mentor them. Well, that would be nice, but there's not enough of them to go around.